Welcome to the video, guys. We're going to be talking about how I spoke anxiety recovery into existence. And you might be sitting there thinking, what do you mean, Magnus, speaking anxiety recovery into existence? Let me break it down. Your words have a profound effect on the reality you're experiencing. If you're experiencing anxiety, you are speaking words out loud that is not currently serving you, that is creating more anxiety for you. I can say that with certainty. What I've seen, and I've worked with a lot of people, and I speak to a lot of people in the DMs, and I see a lot of comments on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. What I see with people with anxiety is they use words that limit their lives, right? A big one is I can't. I can't go outside. I can't travel abroad. I can't socialize. When did you decide that you couldn't do something? Like what's stopping you physically from doing something? That's a paradigm that I want to challenge you today, because what I notice when people join my program, they come on, they say, Magnus, I can't do this. I can't travel 10 miles away from my house. I have panic attacks. So I keep it in a 5-mile radius. I ask them, physically, are you able to do it? And they say, yes, physically. I said, if someone said your life and your family's life was dependent on it, would you be able to do it? And they say, yes, I would be able to do it. And I said, so can you do it? And they say, yes. I said, well, what's stopping you from doing it? Why do you actually need my help? And it's because of the fear. It's because of the panic attacks. It's because of the symptoms and the thoughts that come up. But when you learn how to manage those symptoms, it becomes a possibility. When you learn the right mindset, the right approach, it becomes a possibility. It becomes a reality. But by saying I can't do it, by saying I can't handle this anxiety, I can't go outside, I can't go 10 miles away from my house, you're cutting off that possibility. You're living in a paradigm that's limiting you by saying I can't. And there's a good analogy and metaphor that I see. It's this horse that's tied to a plastic chair. The horse is stood still. It's not moving, but it could easily just drag the plastic chair with them. And I see that with a lot of people with anxiety. They don't realize that they're actually tied to a plastic chair and they can drag the plastic chair along. Could they have a panic attack? Yes, very possibly. Could they have a high anxiety moment? Of course. Could they have intrusive thoughts that are distressing? Of course. However, saying I can't do it cuts off all possibility and keeps you stuck in this limiting paradigm that is only driving you deeper into the cycle. So that's just one example of you're choosing words that stops you from breaking the cycle. So I can't is the first one. The second one is try. I will try and do that. Every single client that I work with, when they say that, I call them out. I say, what do you mean by try? What does try even mean? I will try and do that exposure. Okay, what does that look like? What does trying look like, guys? Because you either do something or you don't do it. You know, if you go and do an exposure, you go in the car and you drive up the road and you try, you are doing it. You are actively doing the exposure. But when you say try, you're putting yourself in this no man's land of, are you doing it or you're not doing it? There's no clarity. There's no accountability. There's just trying, which is a false word. So that's another word that you need to cut out of your vocabulary if you want to overcome anxiety. The third one is, I hope. I hope things get better. Or I wish. I wish things were different. I wish I wasn't struggling with these symptoms. I hope. They're sort of the same thing, hope and wish. It's a rejection of what is. It's rejecting your reality because it's uncomfortable, because it's distressing, and because you're not happy with your reality. And that's understandable. I understand that. However, saying I hope things get better is putting into another source. It's saying, okay, I hope things get better, instead of saying, I will make things better. I will regulate my nervous system every day. I will expose myself. I will open up. I will work with a coach. I will change my vocabulary. You see the difference there? It's not like I hope things get better. No, hoping doesn't make anything better. If you're repeating the same patterns, the same beliefs, the same thoughts, the same behaviors, nothing will get better. And hoping won't change that. So that's another word that you need to cut out of your vocabulary to break the cycle. And wish is the same. It's the same sort of thing. It's, I wish things were different. I wish I could recover. I wish my symptoms weren't so severe. When you reject what is, you create anxiety. When you are not happy and you're wishing that things were different, you're basically resisting what is, and that creates anxiety. If you, on the other side, totally accept, radically accept everything you're going through, and you know that things will get better because you're doing everything you can, and you're taking the right steps to recover, then there's no wishing involved. You know that this anxiety is serving a purpose. It's developing your character, it's developing your resilience, it's going to deepen your gratitude in the future when you are experiencing a better life. So you know there's no wishing there, there's just acceptance. And acceptance is the key to recovery, as I'm sure you guys are aware of. So that's another one to cut out. Wish. I wish things get better. That's one I don't like. I really don't like that one. What else? What else have we got? Another word that I highly recommend people cut out, or phrase, is, came to mind. What was it? If. Using if is another one. If things were different. If I feel better, I will do this exposure. If is the land of wishing. Again, it's like, it puts it out of your control. It puts it in a separate. If things come together the way I want them to, then I'll see this success. If I feel a little better, it's once again, it's taking away your control. Instead of saying if, you need to say, again, I will, or when I do this, when I have the opportunity to expose myself, I will make it happen. When I feel that symptom coming on, I will surrender. I will feel it. I will activate the vagus nerve. You're not doing ifs. You're taking back your power. So there are a few things you can do differently in terms of changing your vocabulary. Just a quick reminder, there's nothing that you can't do. Anxiety, as debilitating as it is, it's not a physical handicap. And this might trigger a few people, but I know from first-hand experience, it's possible to do anything with disordered anxiety. This is coming from someone who was housebound, and I learned through breaking my own mindset, my own limitations, that I could do things that I didn't believe I was ready for. And I was an extreme case. So I'm not speaking out of line here. And then trying doesn't exist. Stop saying I will try, I will do, or I will not do. It's that simple. And it's better to be honest with yourself. I'm not going to do it. It's better to be honest instead of deluding yourself into thinking you're going to try. Hoping and wishing. We don't hope, we make things happen. We don't wish, we accept. And then finally, ifs. We don't do ifs. We take back control. We make it happen. So that's the video for today, guys. Make sure that you apply this into your life. And if you want more help with this, if you want more accountability, if you want more guidance, then you can click the link below and book a call. If not, if you're seeing success on your own journey, just take from this video what you will. And I wish you all the best going forward.